everyone has their experience of like what I call the PPC nightmare. For me, it's just white and then just seeing a CPA graph going up and down and just watching and then just waking up in a cold sweat.
Yeah.
Everyone has their variation of that, and it usually comes down to sort of what you find to be the thing that you care about the most, whether it's the stats, whether it's talking to customers, whether it's, sort of doing detailed deep dives. The thing that really gets your sort of your heart rate up in the job tends to then translate into what you dream about.
Okay, so here we are, Pete. We're on the beanbags. This is
Yes.
not normal practice, but this is just the way this is set up today.
Yeah.
It's not an agency thing. We're not sat there with the bar football and all the rest of it. It just happens to be what we've got.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
I overheard you talking about something about the PPC nightmare rite of passage.
Yeah.
Just tell me about that.
Yeah, so we've got quite a lot of new starters starting. I wouldn't want to put anyone off the industry because it is obviously an excellent industry. But there is this sort of rite of passage that you go through because the industry attracts people that really care.
Yeah.
That's the big thing, and you get very, very emotionally invested in the work that you do when you are very, very in the details every day. And every account manager that I've talked to, both at Push and other agencies, everyone has their experience of like what I call the PPC nightmare. For me, it's just white and then just seeing a CPA graph going up and down and just watching and then just waking up in a cold sweat.
Yeah.
Everyone has their variation of that, and it usually comes down to sort of what you find to be the thing that you care about the most, whether it's the stats, whether it's talking to customers, whether it's, sort of doing detailed deep dives. The thing that really gets your sort of your heart rate up in the job tends to then translate into what you dream about a lot of the times. Yeah, and it's every single person has had it that I've talked to. Yeah, and so it is it's a rite of passage in a way.
Do you need some sort of help with this?
Please, I'm going to blink twice.
Yeah.
No, but like it comes with the territory, I think, really. And I don't think there are many industries like it, really.
Yeah.
Because, it's performance marketing at the end of the day. You are the tip of the spear, the spotlight's on you.
Yeah.
And so when things are great, brilliant. When things aren't great, the question's going to come back to you. And so you can't help but become very emotionally invested in it. And so it's going to come back. So, yeah. Wow. It's a deep topic. It's a deep one.
It sounds like one we should explore in a longer piece than we've got here to do today. But has pretty much every new starter kind of gone through this then?
Well, I mean, everyone on my team has, for sure. I talked about it with everyone that's had it. And I think everyone can relate. I've not talked to every single person, but it's been a pretty consistent thing.
Do you think when we're bringing in new graduates, new starters, do you think we should actually tell them, forewarn them about the PPC nightmare?
I mean, I think we should at the very least say, like, you're going to find yourself asking, why do I care so much about this? And it's like, because you love your customers and you love what they do and you want to see them succeed.
Yes.
And so their success is your success.
Yeah.
And so it kind of happens, and every detail. Yeah.
What's interesting there as well is that you talk about that. I know, and this is kind of a loaded question, but that doesn't matter whether or not you've got customers that you're seeing in face once a quarter, once a month, or if they happen to be, in another country. But is that the case? Yeah,
for sure. I mean, I think typically it comes down to the relationship a lot of the time. Like I have some great relationships with customers that I've only ever met in person once or twice. And I'm as emotionally invested with them as ones that come into the office every couple of weeks. And in a couple of cases, probably even more so. So it all starts with relationships, as a lot of this job does.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big deal. And it's easier to create a relationship when you're in person, but it's not impossible. So.
It's true. We've always said with customers that are happy, we've always simplistically said it's kind of dependent on two things. It's dependent on the hard results and the relationship.
Yes.
And sometimes they can be, sometimes you can have poorer results, but if the relationship is strong and the customer understands why those results are poor because of that relationship, then it works. But we've really valued having people that can build great relationships. And one thing I'd say that's a challenge sometimes is finding that kind of unique combination like you have, where you have someone that understands the data
Yeah.
and can talk to people, because you can get people that understand the data really well, and you can get people that can talk to people, but getting the two combinations is tough.
I've always called it storytelling, really.
Yes. Interesting.
It's still, I guess it's numbers, but you can always tell stories with numbers. I've got an English degree background, and I think that probably helps to an extent. Is analyze, communicate, and it's the so what piece.
Yeah.
I think it helps that I have a background on client side.
Yeah.
My first job was client side, and so I do have remnants of that client mindset sort of deep in, and oftentimes it's just so what, really. And so being able to dig down to the so what.
Well, you're an example. You've changed my outlook, because my outlook always used to be, not lazily, but I would say graduates look just find people that get maths, and then we started to think that wasn't always the right thing, and then seeing what you've achieved with English has changed my view on the type of people that we want to hire, and it's also changed my view on what I think my son might do at school, because he's naturally better at English. And he's okay at maths, and I'm trying to get him as good as he can be. But I'm beginning to think, actually, him doing an English degree is a really cool thing to do.
Yeah, it's a really interesting one, and also and this is very much off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But maths is at sort of is fundamental to sort of everything in business, right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of technology and innovation oftentimes is, how can we make maths easier for people? How can we take this off and make sure that it's right every single time and can be done faster and faster and faster? So that's great for the maths piece, and it will always continue to develop. I think it's a little bit slower off the mark in terms of technology and innovation for creativity, storytelling, all of those pieces. And so then that more relies on the human element, at least for now. I'm sure it'll get there eventually, but it's something to consider.
Love it. And you know what? I really like telling stories as well. I think it's really important. So that was brilliant. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. Amazing.
So thanks very much for watching. We'll be posting a lot more content. You can find loads on our website, pushgroup.co.uk. You can also see all of the other channels that we're posting content on: LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Just go there and you'll find plenty more on pushgroup.co.uk. Thank you very much.